Ladies, gentlemen, and miniatures of all ages, with Grounded 2 officially out in early access for nearly a week, today I wanted to just stop and have a look at every weapon that is available for those that are trying to work out what they want to work towards or seek out in case you've missed anything, or just pointing out things that are particularly powerful and worth using as well. If you haven't found them yet, on top of the regular crafted weaponry, there are also a few unique special named weapons that are generally more powerful than their base versions, but also have very special perks. And these can be quite a big deal, but as a number of them can be considered exploration spoilers, I will be leaving those towards the end. So we'll start by showing the full list of crafted weapons, talking about any of them that are worth properly using, and then we'll talk about the named weapons afterwards and how to get them. Starting off then, let's go through the one-handed weapons in the game. Pebblet Spear is your first basic weapon you'll get right out the gate. Stinger Spear is an upgraded spear. It's the best non-unique spear in the game currently, so if you like to use spears, the Stinger Spear is your goal for crafted weapons. This requires bee materials and silk rope. There's the Mosquito Needle, which is an incredibly good weapon just in general, the best one-handed weapon by pure stats considering its speed, its crit chance, and the fact that it has the lifesteal perk on it as well, and the only reason that you would prefer the other one-handers is if you want either the spear fighting style mutation and stuff like that, or if you want to use a club, of course, for the stun damage part of it as well. But one-handed weapons can be paired with shields, and there's ways to get high stun damage from shields themselves, so I highly value the Mosquito Needle itself, which is made from mosquito materials and silk rope. The Crimson Saber is your early starting sword weapon. Not too much to discuss about it, honestly. Larvalant is an okay spear, but it's worse than the Stinger Spear. Roach Club is the only crafted option for a one-handed smashing weapon, so if you like the Smasher mutation, then this weapon is of course meaningful. For the list of shields themselves, Weevil Shield is your super early shield option, not too much past that honestly. Crimson Buckler is a funky shield which is made to deal damage and stun buildup on perfect blocks. So if you are confident with your perfect blocks, this can actually be impressively strong as an offensive tool too. And it's made from super early game materials, which makes it easy to get to begin with. The Bomb Buckler has a similar effect on it, except that it applies spicy damage and sizzle buildup when you perfect block, so it's a bit more specific, but if your target is weak to spicy, it's a solid option, again if you're confident with perfect blocks. This one is made from Bombardier specific parts, silk ropes, and then spine nubs from caterpillars specifically. Then you have the Lady Guard, and this is the first shield that we've talked about that is a heavy shield. That means that it blocks all damage from attacks even on your regular block, not even the perfect block. So this is an ultra strong defensive option for your kit, even if you aren't confident in your perfect block timing, and it can be made way easier and earlier than most tier 2 equipment. I highly recommend making this early in a playthrough if you want to go against some tougher foes early on. Moving on to two-handed weapons, then we've got the Red Ant Club. Reasonably solid weapon for how early you can actually make it, which is basically just after your first few soldier ant kills. Low speed, low crit, but great stun value and decent damage. There's also the Spicy Coltana, which is a very endgame weapon. It's an incredibly powerful two-handed sword with the special Sizzling Attack perk to build up the sizzle debuff when hitting enemies. This one is essentially only for those at the end of current early access content. The recipe to craft it is unlocked from the final current story mission. As for the materials, it's wolf spider bits, Everchar coal chunks from the fire pit area, and then these spicy globs, and there are only a couple of these in the game at this point of early access, and they are both in the same chest. Skip to the time on screen if you don't want to know, as it is a potential exploration spoiler here, but for those sticking around, the globs are in a chest that you can find under the roots of this tree right here on your map in Pine Hills. The chest requires the Sizzling Key to unlock it, and the Sizzling Key is also a reward for the current final story mission. Once you have the key, go to this tree and look for the hole in the root structure right here. You can follow the pop cap ammunition to get there, and this allows you to go under the roots, get in, and find a chest which holds the globs in them once you open it. Then we have your basic War Hammerlet. This thing is basically just for one main purpose, which is getting an early ladybug kill, because ladybugs are weak to smash type damage, but resistant to pretty much everything else, and you can use this to knock off an early ladybug or two to make the ladybug shield that we talked about earlier. Then we have the Mantis Blade. While the Spicy Coltana is really strong against anything that is weak to spicy damage or sizzle, the Mantis Blade is technically better against pretty much everything else. It has notably better stats, but of course at the cost of not doing spicy damage or sizzle buildup. This is more of a general used best option for two-handers though, and this one is crafted from praying mantis parts and lingonberry leather. Next up we've got dual wielded weapons, which is a new weapon type added in Grounded 2, and honestly a really fun one and cool one too, as well as just being really strong. The Mighty Claws are just your basic dual wield weapon from low tier parts. The Northern Shredders are Scorpion Claws, much better stats, and they apply venom on critical hits as well. So these are a solid early weapon once you find the recipe, and for those who did miss the recipe, This is in the little tunnel right here with an orc scorpion that you hit very early in the story. It's located here. You have to interact with this specific piece of paper on the floor called Cryptic Recipe. It's pretty easily missed, and then if you have the materials to craft it, it's very easy. It's scorpion chunks, scorpion venom, spine nubs from caterpillars, and then some silk ropes. Then we have the Ice Sickles, which is a very strong pair of tier 3 weapons. These have the chilling attack perk on them, which makes them cause chill and freeze buildup enemies on hit. They deal fresh damage on hit as well, and these are the closest thing that you will find to a unique weapon in the game that isn't technically classified as a unique weapon, because you can technically craft them with mint globs, but you can find them out in the world for free, or at the very least for a non-material cost, as you do have to fight for them and free them and earn them. This one is again a bit of an exploration spoiler, so skip ahead to the time on screen if you want to avoid it. For those who are staying though, in the tipped over ice cream cart, you can climb up to a pipe that leads to a room with a jammed up fan. Break the icicles that are on the mechanism itself to make the fan free up a little bit and move a little bit. This will open up and reveal a little tunnel that you can go through. Once you've gone through the tunnel, you will find the ice sickles stuck in the floor, interact with them, and you will start a really hectic defense mission with a bunch of scorpions. But if you make it to the end of the defense mission successfully, you'll just get the sickles straight up for free. The chest that has the mint globs to craft them manually are also in this room. They are in a chest that is opened by the frostbitten key, which you can also just find on a corpse by the ice cream cart optical disc within the actual cart itself. Then after that, we've got the Weaver Daggers. These are just a really solid pair of damaging daggers for tier 2 options, or Weaver materials and silk ropes to craft, relatively simple. The stronger version of the same concept really is the Wolfsbane Fangs. Tier 3, better stats than Weaver Daggers in every way, including more crit, but also the Venom Attack perk, which adds venom buildup to all attacks with the weapon. This makes these extremely strong. They are the strongest dual wield option against the vast majority of enemies, with the only real exception being if things are particularly weak to fresh damage or of course the chill buildup, then the icicles are extremely strong as they're a tier 3 that has that option. This one, however, is made from wolf spider materials and silk rope, so they are quite a late craft in the game, but definitely one that you can forcibly make once you are strong enough. Then we've got ranged weapons as well, starting with the bows. The Sprig bow is the most basic bow, good for right at the start of the game and not much else. The Spider Stringer is just better stats. It's the mid-tier bow made with Orb Weaver materials, nothing much more special than that. Then we have the Wolf Stringer, which is the best crafted bow made mostly with wolf spider materials. None of them have perks as far as the bows here, they are just stat sticks, but there is a unique bow that I'll be mentioning later on that's worth thinking about too. Then finally for the crafted weapons we have the Candy Staves as well, two of which are in the game right now, which are the Scorching Orb, which does spicy damage and applies sizzle buildup on hits, with the charge attack being a particularly large glob of sizzleness too. This one requires bombardier parts and spicy shards to make, and this is generally just quite strong against anything that is weak to spicy, as it is pure spicy damage. Then there is also the Glacial Sting. This is the fresh counterpart made from pine needles, mint shards, and a scorpion stinger. It does pure fresh damage and has freeze and chill buildup on hit, with the charged attack being a big glob of freeze buildup if it hits. Like the Scorching Orb weapon, this is really strong against anything that is properly weak to fresh type damage. For anyone looking to do a mage type build though, I do recommend having both of these damage type staves and swapping them out based on enemy weaknesses. But it is also worth noting there is a unique staff you may want to know about before you go to the trouble of crafting and upgrading the basic staves. That said, it's time for your unique weapons. One of them we've already talked about, as it does technically show up on the crafted list, the Ice Sickles, but the rest of these are from finding them out in the world exclusively, so each and every one could be considered an exploration spoiler, in which case consider yourself properly warned ahead of the reveals. There are 3 unique one-handed weapons, one for each weapon type that falls under that umbrella. The one-handed spear unique weapon is the Gloom Skewer, an upgraded version of the Larva Lance that is tier 2. Here's what its stat looks like in compared to the normal Larva Lance, and it also has a unique perk, Gaping Wound. This makes charged attacks with this weapon apply a stabbing resistance down debuff to the enemies. This does not increase your damage against most enemies, but anything that otherwise is listed as resistant to stabbing becomes less resistant, which mostly just means that it is a solid all-rounder weapon that does near equal damage to everything, unless it is specifically weak to the damage, in which case it does more. As for the stats, it does have slightly higher damage and way higher crit chance than the regular Larva Lance, but that does come at a cost because you can see that it surprisingly has notably less stun value as a bit of a trade-off. So it is definitely better overall, but not just a pure upgrade statistically speaking. To actually get this one then, you want to head to the Toxic Anthill. The easiest entrance to go from this is right under the picnic table itself. If you come to this exact spot, under the picnic blanket, there is an entry to the hill. Take the first left turn and then follow it down the whole way to the absolute bottom, the deepest part of this that you can get to, and you'll find a big open room with a cockroach queen boss inside of it. At the back of this room, there's a bunch of mushrooms, and behind the mushrooms is the Gloom Skewer. The intended way to get through the mushrooms is tier 2 chopping Omni tool, but you can just climb over and around the mushrooms under the right side large one with some jumping and crouching too if you do get here earlier than that. Next up then, we have the Crimson Avenger one-handed weapon. This is a unique variant of the Crimson Saber, the Red Ant Sword. It is an upgrade to tier 2 instead of tier 1, and the only statistical difference between them is that it gains a fair chunk more damage, but everything else on it remains the same, but it does of course gain a unique perk as well, which is Spider Criticals. What this does, very simply, extra crit chance against spider type enemies. This makes it uniquely better against spider enemies, and it is the strongest slashing damage type one-handed weapon currently in the game. This is a specific niche, but it is a niche worth filling and worth noting. For this one, you do need the tier 2 Omni Shovel upgrade. There is no workaround for that like there was for the last one, and you also need to have a Red Ant Soldier buggy with you as well. With that, you want to head over to the Spider Den Anthill. The south entrance is the closest one, and that is located here on your map in the lower height area of the Pine Hills section of the map. From this entrance, you want to simply progress forward. There is an ant crunch wall, break through it, and follow the path through. No turns, nothing like that. Eventually, you'll just find a wooden crate that you enter through a corner of it, the Memorial Crate, and in the corner of it is a big wad of gum that you can shovel through, and the Crimson Avenger named weapon will come out of it. Next up then, we have the Pinch Whacker. This is the only named weapon that isn't a variant of an existing weapon. It is a one-handed club, the severed arm of a little Tasty robot, and I'll compare its stats to the Roach Club as the only other one-handed smashing weapon. It has slightly less damage than the Roach Club, but notably more stun and crit chance, which is really important, as well of course as the Finale Short Circuit perk that it has on it too, and this adds a big AoE shock damage effect to your 3-hit combo finisher, which looks like this in effect. This does quite solid damage, and it pairs very well with the Smasher mutation as well, arguably better than the Roach Club does. So as for how to get it, you need to have a bomb with you, the Bratburst being the easiest to craft. Then you want to head to this purple can, just north of the fire pit, very easily recognizable on your map, and directly east of this can, a very short distance, is a very easily missed hole in the terrain. Go through the hole to find a little corner of science with a breakable wall, throw the bomb at the wall, go through, and among some other goodies, including a high-tier sizzle reduction smoothie, you will find this unique named weapon on the chair to be picked up. That said, while we are here, and now that you have that free sizzle smoothie, let's talk about Heatwave, the unique Scorching Orb candy staff. Compared to the regular sizzle staff, the Scorching Orb, this has identical stats except extra crit chance on the unique version, which is lovely for sure, but it also comes with the Finale Warmth perk, which the regular one does not have. This makes it so the final hit of your 3-hit combo, the finisher attack, reduces your chill buildup. This doesn't really help in combat, it doesn't make you do more damage, but it means that this weapon is very useful in places like the ice cream cart, which also happens to be full of spicy, damage, weak enemies. That said, as for how to get this one, it is in the fire pit area on your map, specifically right inside of the middle of the fire pit at the bottom of the fire pit itself, right in the center. There are some Everchar coal chunks that you can bust open with tier 2 bust. Then inside of this is the Heatwave staff itself, very easily picked up. And of course, a warning here, the fire pit is in fact hot, so sizzle resistance highly recommended for this. Next up then, let's talk about the Scarlet Aegis. This is the unique named version of the Ladyguard shield. This is statistically identical to the Ladyguard shield, but it of course does have a bonus unique perk, this one called Parry Buggy Heal. This gives your buggies a small heal anytime that you get a perfect block with the shield. It is nice for any combat where your buggies are actually allowed to join you, it makes them more survivable, but it's nothing totally game breaking, it won't completely change every fight in the game. As for how to get this one, you need to make sure that you have one bomb and your red soldier and buggy. The spot that you are heading to is right here on your map between the podium and the large rock to the east of it, and then you need to ant crunch your way through the entrance right here. Take a right turn, then a left turn very immediately, and you will find the bomb breakable wall right here. Open it up with the bomb, and then on the left side behind it there will be a chest that has this shield sitting inside of it. Then our final named weapon today is the Bushwacker, a unique bow. This is based off of the Orb Weaver bow, the Spider Stringer. It has identical raw stats to it as well, but the unique perk, Cheap Shot. This increases damage against full health targets. So this is essentially made for a bow-based ambush build, a surprise attack build, meaning your first hit with this bow against an unaware enemy, if you have the ambush mutation as well, should do quite a ton of damage. But then generally after that first shot of combat, you will get more goodness out of the Wolf Stringer specifically, which does have notably higher raw stats in every regard. But that doesn't mean it isn't worth having the Bushwacker as well, as your opening shot with this, if you're set up properly, can do a lot of damage and then you can just switch to the Wolfstringer bow afterwards. As for where to get this one, it's the most complex by a fair bit and takes a little bit of movement. You have to start at the hedge north of the Billy Hog stand, with the proper entrance being right here on your map. From here, you've got a fair bit of climbing to do to start off with, so I'll let the path just play out for clarity until we reach the main fork in the road. From here, you want to cross the Spiderweb Bridge over to the north. I know it's agonizingly slow, the normal way to get through these bridges, but you can use the Dagger dash attack to speed through it if you have a dual wield weapon on you, or if you are in endgame with the Orbweaver buggy, it just walks normal speed alongside this. Follow this path, and basically you just want to follow the web bridges through this area. Once you've passed a full adult Orbweaver, you know you're almost there, and on this main central branch there is a little hidden descending path off of the middle of it. Follow it down to this leaf on which there is a chest with the Bushwacker bow stored inside of it. And that just about does it then, everyone. Every weapon currently in Grounded 2's early access, their stats, which of them are worth looking out for more specific reasons, and how to get the ones that aren't particularly obvious. I hope you've all enjoyed this, and I hope it helps you become the insect slayer you dream of being. Like if you liked the video, subscribe to the notification bell for more, and most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, until next time, stay sweet.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.